Hello students, welcome to this class. In today's video, I will be talking to you about the pronoun, the possessive pronoun actually, whose. Some people often confuse this pronoun with whose. But that is not correct because this here refers to who is or who has, which is not what we are going to talk about today. As you can see, I have 4 examples here written on the board so that you can get a clear example or a clear knowledge on this topic. For example, if you see the word itself, whose, you can see that it does not need an apostrophe, just like any other possessive pronoun. So we will not ever use an apostrophe when using whose. The first one says, we still do not know whose car that is. Whose is the possessive pronoun. We don't know who that car belongs to. We are talking about ownership, about belonging. We do not know who that car belongs to. We do not know whose car that is. The next one says, whose are these jeans? Whose are these jeans? In this case, whose we want to know who the jeans belong to. Whose are these? Whose is that? All right? Or we want to know whose jeans these are. You could say it like that also. The next one says, whose project do you think is best? We are talking about whose project. Whose is that project? Whose project do you think is best? So we are talking about belonging, ownership. It is a possessive pronoun, right? A possessive pronoun that does not need an apostrophe and an S added at the end. The next one says, John is the man whose ideas, it is possessing ideas, were brilliant. All right, so this is the way you use whose. Remember not to confuse it with whose, because it is who is or who has. All right, so next I will give you some more practice examples and sentences so that you can practice along with me. Now we are going to practice a little bit. You are going to help me fill in the blanks. The first one says, blank laptop is that. So we know that we must use whose. The second one is a trick sentence. Blank the man in the black suit. Can you say who's the man in the black suit? Whose? No, because we cannot say that the man in the black suit belongs to somebody else. So we will put whose. Who is the man in the black suit? All right? And the last one, according to whose idea. Which whose are we going to use? The contraction whose, who is, who has, or whose, the possessive pronoun? The possessive pronoun. That is right. So this is the way you use whose. And remember to never ever confuse it with the contraction whose, who is or who has. All right. Next, I will leave you some homework. Why? Because you need to practice in order to improve your English and of course master this very interesting topic. For homework, you are going to write for, I forgot the R here. I'm sorry. Well, that's an R. 4 sentences using the possessive pronoun whose. Remember not to confuse this possessive pronoun with this contraction here. Whose, who is, who has. No, whose, possessive pronoun, not contraction. All right, next I will tell you to please leave your homework in the comment section below this video. And for those of you who have a workbook, do it there. All right? Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Would you like to watch my next video? Click on the television to the right. I'll be talking to you about how to choose a correct pronoun when you have businesses or places and organizations.